Alright, I'm going to try to be excited doing this video, but it's the second time I did it, and the first time got totally messed up, so it's very depressing. But anyways, I started off by saying, look how hideous this problem looks. But we're going to do it the new and improved way, so we're not going to guess at all, because that would be so terrible to try to guess what factors work in the right combination. So if you remember what we did before, we took this 12 away and we just rewrote x squared minus 29x, and then plus, so we took these two numbers, the 15 and the 12 that we took away, we multiplied them together, and that actually gives you 180. Now this is still kind of a pain in the butt because we know this is x, we know this is x. I know that these two signs are the same. It's either going to be minus minus or plus plus because it's a positive 180. And then I'm looking here and I get a negative 29. So I know it's negative negative. So I know a lot, but the numbers that are usually fairly easy to come up with are not this time because 180 is a huge number with lots of factors. So I can come up with a couple without getting my calculator out. 180 and 1. 92, 60, and 3, and I could probably come up with others, but I don't really feel like trying very hard. So I'm going to show you a cool way to use your calculator that will make things a lot easier for you. So I'm going to bring up the calculator here, and actually you can see what I have it here already. So what I did was in the equation editor, I'll come back to that, I put in 180 divided by x. So if you had an old calculator, you would probably do 180 divided by 2 and you get 90. You check that, see if it works. 180 divided by 3, you get 60. Check that, see if it works. And then you just keep going down the list. And when you get a decimal, it doesn't work. When you get a whole number, it works, and you can see if they add properly. But what's nice is you do 180 divided by x in your calculator that knows what a variable means, and then you go back to your table. It gives you all the answers. So this is 180 divided by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, by 6, and so on and so forth. And when you get a decimal in the y1 row, like this 25.714, that just means 7 doesn't go into 180. That's all that means. But if you look at the 9, which is highlighted, notice 9 goes into 180 20 times. So the factors are 9 and 20. And we needed numbers that add up to 29. So 9 and 20 work perfectly. So I go back to my work here, and I get, let me get my color back, I get 20 and 9. And it works out that they're both negative, because when you multiply two negatives, you get a positive. When you add two negatives, you get a bigger negative. And that was not the end of it, though. So that was kind of the toughest part of the whole problem. We're going to rewrite this, but instead write this as a fraction with this missing 12 as the denominator. That was what we did last time. It worked really well. And then, if you remember from last time, we reduced. It's very important that you reduce first. X minus 20 over 12 reduces to, so I just cut it in half and cut it in half again, so it'd be like 10 over 6, then 5 over 3, so 5/3. And then 9 over 12 reduces to 3 over 4. Right, and then if you remember what happens to these guys, they sneak back up into the coefficient in front of x, and you get 3x minus 5 and 4x minus 3. And we didn't ever do any guessing and checking. I guess you could call the 20 and 9 guessing, but we used the calculator to reduce the amount of guessing we had to do. And I had promised in the last video that we would prove that we were right. So to prove you are right, because you're going to get to the end and you're going to say, okay, that's nice, it kind of worked out, but I don't know if I'm right. Well, this is how you know you're right. You set up your polynomial multiplying grid, and you write your two factors here. Yes, can you hear? Miss O is making an announcement. So 4x, negative 3. And remember, you multiply to get the boxes. So 3x times 4x is 12x squared. This would be negative 20x. This would be negative 9x. This would be positive 15. And then you add up the things that are alike. These two x's, I call it the peanut. So they have like terms. So you get a 12x squared minus 29x when you combine them, plus 15. And if you get back to the original problem, you did it right. Nice work.